Yes, the jabronis over at Pro Football Focus are frenemies of the Minnesota Vikings. Sometimes they get it right, a la Justin Jefferson, and sometimes they get it wrong, which most of the time. But whenever we talk about PFF, I get to use one of my favorite memes of Jan Moss. Ted Lasso. Love it, man. But Mekhi Blackmon is coming in as the Vikings look to rebuild their cornerback room. The pride of USC, super feisty, super aggro, love his attitude. And even though, hey, there were better quarterbacks on the board, according to my rankings, all that stuff. Hey, you know who knows about cornerbacks? Brian Flores. That's right. So Brian Flores and the Vikings deemed Blackmon to be that guy as a trade down in the third round. They secured him, and PFF, Pro Football Focus, overviewed the Vikings offseason, and they said that drafting Blackmon was the best of the best Vikings offseason move, which kind of impressive. This is what they wrote up. Best move of the offseason, drafting USC cornerback Mekhi Blackmon. Considering how disastrous the Vikings secondary was last season, Blackmon could be an immediate contributor as a rookie. He transferred to USC from Colorado in 2022. By the way, Colorado had Blackmon and Christian Gonzalez as their cornerbacks for a number of years. How crazy is that? And then they got bad. And blossomed into an elite coverage player. He allowed just 43.1% completion percentage into his coverage and forced 17 total incompletions while picking off 3 other passes. And also they talked about early position battle to watch quarterback. Byron Murphy should have one starting cornerback spot locked down. Yes. Possibly in the slot. Yes. The other two, however, are wide open, pun intended. 2022 rookies Andrew Booth Jr. and Caleb Evans combined, blah, 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 blah. Not only will Blackmon have a shot at a significant playing time, but 2023 fourth round pick Jay Ward could also factor in. At LSU in 2022, Ward posted 6 forced incompletions and an impressive 14 defensive stops on pass play. Ward, a bit more of a safety, big nickel type player, but certainly is going to contribute in the secondary as well. And saying that Blackmon is the best move of the offseason is pretty impressive. And yes, we still have Hawkinson on here, whatever. But Addison, former USC teammate, the guy that he practiced against every single day, the guy that he requests to cover and practice every single day, pretty impressive. Jay Ward, Jaquelin Roy, Jalen Hall, Dwayne McBride, all solid draft picks. And then the Vikings offseason moves. So, I mean, you could go into addition by subtraction with some of these, but the additions of Josh Oliver, best blocking tight end in the game. Marcus Davenport rolling the dice on a 1-year deal, $13 million with him. Murphy was a solid signing. Lowry, I like as depth along the defensive line. Joanne Williams, Brandon Powell, Troy Reeder, etc. And then you look at the UDFAs. I mean, I feel like the UDFAs get more hype than the draft picks. So Andre Carter II, Ivan Pace Jr. obviously will be names to watch in training camp and could potentially be pretty significant players, even though they didn't get their name read a couple of weeks ago. But Blackmon, I liked him a lot, where in the pre-draft process, the Vikings certainly did their due diligence. They met with him multiple times. He was a top 30 visit, and they really got to know him. And obviously, when they were scouting Addison, they saw a lot of Blackmon in those same games. But he's going to come in super feisty on the outside, can play inside, outside as well. And his scouting report from Lance Zierlein, NFL.com, aggressive man cover cornerback whose physical play brings both passes defended and penalties. Blackmon gives receivers a tough ride over the first 5 yards. That's what she said, but his extended grabbing will be less tolerated by NFL officials. He's capable of phasing routes when matching from press, but he doesn't have the hips to transition smoothly when playing off-man coverage. He's talented at squeezing the catch space and timing his challenges, but Blackmon's lack of size and fluidity could limit his pro chances. But talking about the aggressiveness, again, we said this a bunch. I'd rather have a cornerback that you have to rein in the aggressiveness versus having them amp it up. I want a guy who wants to be a yard off the receiver, play that press man spot, as opposed to being comfortable playing 7-8 yards off the receiver. I don't want to see that, and Blackmon is super feisty, super aggro, and I think that fans are really going to like his attitude. And defensively, in the cornerback room, we said this a bunch, and PFF echoed the sentiment. Murphy, I think, is the only guy that you can put in pen as a starter, probably working for outside in base and inside in nickel and sub package. And then Evans, Booth, Blackmon, Jowan, Barnes. I mean, it is wide open. So it really isn't it really isn't a hot take to say that Mekhi Blackmon, if he shows well at mandatory minicamp, training camp, preseason, could potentially supplant Evans and Booth, who are currently penciled in as potential starters. So I think it's anyone's ball game at this spot for the top three corners, since nickel is the new base and your slot corner is basically a starter. So you have to go at least three deep at cornerback, and Blackmon could be that dude. But your thoughts aren't thoughts. Oh, that's PFF. Ooh. But your thoughts aren't thoughts. Mekhi Blackmon, the best move of the offseason? Question mark. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skull Production Value.